Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Smyrna Police Department. We have thrown this press conference here today because we have some information about some bank robberies. But before I get into that, I wanted to just briefly introduce, this is one of my partners, Sergeant Wayne Delk of the Cobb County Police Department, and this is also Taylor Elliott of the Smyrna Police Department. My name's Lewis Defense of the Smyrna Police Department, and I'm the Public Information Officer. What I'd like to convey to you today is that over the past week, we have had 2 bank robberies here in the city, one on the 24th and one on the 27th. The individual that is conducting these bank robberies, we believe is the same individual. And through our investigative methods, we've reached out to other jurisdictions and we realized that we may have the same perpetrator. With that in mind, we're reaching out to you guys to ask you guys to reach out to the community to tell them that we need their help in identifying this individual.
How urgent is it to find this guy?
We believe it's very urgent. At this point in time, the manner in which he is facilitating these robberies is he's giving a note. But in that note, he's suggesting that he has a weapon. So we're hoping that this doesn't escalate further to him producing a weapon. So that's the reason for the sense of urgency in identifying, locating, and apprehending this guy and getting him off the street as soon as possible.
He has a similar MO in each of these cases.
That is correct. He produces a note and he suggests that he has a weapon.
What is he wearing?
This individual's wearing a Champion hooded sweatshirt, dark sweatpants. What's distinctive about his attire when he does this is that he's wearing a surgical mask over his face, and then he produces the note.
About how many bank robberies do you believe he's connected to?
Right now, we're aware of 6.
Over how long, sir?
Over the past couple of weeks. 2 have happened here in the city of Smyrna just this week. Once on the 24th and then once on the 27th.
And where were the others?
The others, one we believe is down in Henry County. One was in Douglas County. Sergeant Delk here has one.
We have one.
And there's one other one that it slipped my mind, but we have at least 6.
How much is he making off with?
We're not at liberty to discuss how much. That may compromise the investigation.
Do we think he's acting alone? Is there a getaway car? How's he getting away from these people?
He is leaving by vehicle. We are still trying to determine what type of vehicle. Whether or not he's alone, we're unsure. But when he goes in and actually facilitates the robbery, he's by himself.
Do we think he's casing out these banks?
In our bank robbery from yesterday, we have some witnesses that say he was acting very erratic shortly before he committed the robbery. So there is a possibility that he's also doing that.
So is he just hanging out in the bank before going up to the tellers? Or when you say he was acting erratically, is this after he hands the note? Or?
No, prior to. He was at a Kroger facility, and he was in very close proximity of the bank, and his actions and mannerisms seem to be off. That's why we're asking the community, if you see somebody that's walking around with a surgical mask on, with this type of clothing, and just acting a little erratic and abnormal, to please call 911 immediately.
Other than the note and the mask, is there anything else that connects him to the other cases?
The same description, the physical description.
Are you working, excuse me, with the FBI too?
Yes, we are working with the FBI, and we've sent this BOLO, our information, to Crime Stoppers, and we're partnering up with other agencies to try to help get this guy off the street as soon as possible.
Is he saying anything to the tellers outside of giving them the note?
No, he's just showing the note, making the demand.
In Monday's case on the 24th, the one on the east-west connector at the Wells Fargo over there, you all conducted a search in that area. We were out there earlier, spoke to some business owners, nearby business owners, and they had mentioned police officers, investigators were going door to door.
That is correct. We were canvassing the area, trying to see if there was any other video surveillance of this guy, any type of vehicle, anything of that nature.
Now, sir, there's bank robberies, I hate to say this, but, quite often. Why is it important to get this guy? Outside of that, he's connected to at least 6 in the Metro Atlanta area, but why is it?
Well, because ours, the frequency, we've had 3 here in Cobb County, 2 here in the city, one in the unincorporated area where Sergeant Delk's department is working. So here, we're just being very aggressive in trying to say, hey, we don't want that type of criminal activity here in our community, and we want to get him off the street as soon as possible.
And any other description outside of what he's wearing, an age, anything like that?
He appears to be in his early to mid 30s. He's a medium build to husky black male. medium complexion. The most distinctive thing about him is this surgical mask.
Wayne, can you talk about the Cobb County case?
Sure. Our case was from back in January. It was January 31st, actually. It was also in a Kroger shopping center. It was a Fifth Third Bank. The shopping center, I believe, is 3895 Cherokee Street up in Kennesaw. Exactly the same MO as in the other cases. I think Sergeant Defense hit on this. Right now, with 6 known cases, and him being kind of ramping it up, and I think y'all have had your cases were pretty close together. There is always a potential for any sort of robbery to escalate. So that's why we're putting this effort into trying to apprehend this particular suspect.
Are all the banks in Kroger shopping centers? Like near Kroger shopping centers?
Ours was, and I think they had one.
So we had one that was in a Kroger shopping center, and then one that was at a Wells Fargo, which was not in a shopping center.
How potentially dangerous can be those people? They do have guns? They have any type of weapon? What do you think?
We hadn't seen a weapon thus far. However, we're being very cautious about how we're dealing with this individual because in his note, he's indicating that he has a weapon.
At the time of day this is happening, are customers actually inside these banks?
Absolutely. It's during their normal business hours.
Sir, and I have to ask, I mean, I know we're looking for someone who's, what stands out is his surgical mask. Is he walking around outside before he gets into the bank with the surgical mask, like outside, Kroger or inside Kroger?
So inside the Kroger facility, he put the mask on after he got inside. From my understanding, in the previous one at the Wells Fargo, he walks into the bank with it on. But the key factor here is that surgical mask.
Now, would it be unusual for someone to walk into these stores with a mask on this time of year? I mean, it's cold and flu season, there's a coronavirus going on too. Would it be considered unusual?
It's not unusual, however, based off of this particular circumstance, with his description, we're asking people to be alert and to be aware. If they feel uncomfortable and they want to call 911, we're professionals. We're going to treat the situation accordingly.
Now, sir, you said he was acting, people are saying he was acting erratically, just a little off. Can you kind of describe was he fidgeting? Was he shaking? I mean,
Pacing back and forth, wandering aimlessly is how I would describe it.